Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Just Two Brothers podcast, where we will be sharing our journey so far and some of the simple tactics we've learned that have helped us become great leaders. Welcome back, guys.
What's going on, Ryan?
You know, this is going to be the week. Was this one the week before or the week after the polar plunge?
Week before. This is this week.
Okay. So, we got that coming up this week. If you haven't and you live in the area, we've been putting links up on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter every single day. Make sure to follow those if you want to join the team. Otherwise, you can also donate at that same spot. We're trying to raise a $500 between the group. I think we're up to 3 or 4 of us jumping now. So, yeah, we got a decent sized group going. Yeah, trying to hit that goal. So, got one more week left. Looking forward to that. I think it's going to be like 40 and sunny, 45 and sunny, so I don't think we can really beat that. That's how it was last year, too. Made it pretty easy.
Should be all right.
Yeah.
We'll get through it.
It's not too rough when it's 40, 45 and sunny outside.
No, for sure.
Go right in and hang out in the warmth. What about you? What's up with you?
Getting ready to head down to southern Indiana for the week for a work trip, and looking forward to that. I'll be back Saturday for the polar plunge, and then back to life as we know it.
Week.
You got my dog, taking care of her. She's got your seat on lock.
Yep. I lose my recliner for the week, but that's all right.
That's my girl.
I let her have it for a little while. I kick her out after a little bit, but she can sit there for a while.
She knows she's queen of the house.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get back into it. Left off last week talking about how leaders inspire action. Then we put out a couple of questions. Got one response, and that was to what will be our second question. So I'll go through that response shortly, but we did throw them out there, and we'd like to continue doing that. So keep an eye out on social media, watch for those questions, and make sure to get us an answer. We'd love to have your response in one of our episodes. So if you see something that piques your interest or triggers something inside you, send us that response.
Yeah.
First question we had, though, was how do you inspire your team? Joe, you've led a couple different teams or been part of a few different teams, and even if you're not necessarily the leader, you can still inspire from within. So how have you inspired your team?
Short and simple, set the example.
Yeah.
Set an example for how you want to be and how you want. I know
we've mentioned that a few times in the last episode too, is lead by example.
Just show up with a positive problem-solving attitude and let them know that you're just in the fight with them. Regardless of whether you're leading them or you are just in there with them, let everybody know that you are with them. You're not fighting on your own. They're not fighting on your own. You're all working together. And people will follow you. So yeah, short and simple, set the example. From the get-go, somebody's got to set the example. It might as well be you.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I sat down and thought about how have I inspired, and it's not an easy thing to think about. Because it's not concrete, and it's not really something you can control. You can, but you can't. Other people need to latch on to what you're pushing. You're basically a salesman. of sorts. And so it's hard to know when you're inspiring. But I thought about what I do in order to try to get people to want to follow me. And you have to show and express your passion for what you're trying to create or trying to achieve. I think that's the starting point. You have to be excited about, and like we've talked about, maybe it's not necessarily the task you're doing at that moment, but you know what you're doing in the grand scheme of things. And it's important to be excited about that and express that to your team. That level of excitement will be contagious, and other people will want to do whatever because they know it's one, going to make you happy, and two, they're getting excited about that goal too.
Yeah, so basically just you're selling them on that strong belief in the vision of the company or what that team, what you're building in that team.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it doesn't have to be anything for the company. It's you can focus on the team and just be the best team that you can be. Another important aspect to it is empowering your team. You have to empower everybody or as many people as possible. If you don't, they lose that motivation, that want to continue to fight. Because what's the point? We as human beings crave that challenge. And it's true at work too. If you are not challenged at work, you lose interest. It's our job as leaders to push that and try to get that drive out of people.
Right.
And you can do that by empowering them. Let them make their own decisions. Let them make decisions. Fix things. Make things better. See what happens. Last big one for me was praise. Praise can go a long fucking way. I do that at home. I do that at work. I do that as much as possible. That was kind of one of our first episodes. A thank you. A thank you can go a long way towards getting people to be inspired by you. Man, he's a nice guy. I really like him. I like to be like him. You know, it starts small, but and then on top of that, if somebody does something, praise them for it. Tell them what a good job it was.
Or how
What a
much you
good
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That goes a long way towards building those relationships. And again, you're kind of a salesman. You're selling this vision you have. That's what inspiration kind of is. And praise is a sales tactic for getting people to want to follow you because, man, they're nice to me. I'm going to want to do what they do. It's a form of manipulation, I guess, but it shows you care about people too. And you appreciate, like you said, what they do.
Yeah.
So that's how I inspire my team or strive to inspire my team. Like I said, I don't think it's really something you can set out to do. You just have to try for it and hope it happens.
Absolutely. So the second question we have was, why is it important to inspire others or to be inspired by others? Correct?
Yes.
And we had one comment about that.
Yep. Pulling it up. So this was from Alier Borba. He is actually a friend of mine, a coworker. We work together at the CNCI program. He runs the machine, so kind of he would be the one that I lead if I had a team at my job, which it's very small, so I don't consider it much. But anyways, so his response to this question was, being a team member myself, I find it important to be inspired on the job and throughout the day. I find it helps with my productivity and success of completing a required task. I also think that you shouldn't always have another person inspire you. You should definitely try to find inspiration in your own way sometimes. Not saying it's wrong, because occasionally you might need a little kick to get you going, and that's all right. At the end of it all, without inspiration, you have no motivation to complete the task at hand, and you will constantly feel like you're not doing good enough, and your life will be a living hell. Now, I like that answer for multiple reasons, because it touched on a lot of the things that I said about inspiring a team and praise and whatever. It also kind of talks about our next question as well. Inspiration and motivation, I picked out of that, and that was a very interesting comment by him, I thought. Because inspiration and motivation are different, and we'll get into that. But so yeah, that was Alier's comments.
Thank you, Alier.
Inspiration gives you basically a reason to want to be there and keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Alier, for the response.
What did you have? Why do you think it's important to inspire others?
I think it's important to inspire your team. I agree with Alier. You're providing them a reason to want to do their job. And it's, like we've said, it's effortless. You don't have to work to get people to want to do their job. You just be you. And people want to follow. And leading by example is huge in that. If you want people to do shit work, you're going to have to do shit work. May not be the same shit work, but you can get your hands dirty. Another episode of ours.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's critical to building a strong team and getting people to have the correct mindset at their job each and every day.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I had basically the same thing that I had for how do you inspire your team is someone has to set the example. You can either look to those around you to be more like them, or you can be the person you feel everyone around you needs. So if there's no one leading a team, there's no one leading a group, someone needs to set the example, find a passion in it, and show everybody that, hey, this can be done. We just got to work together and rally everybody together.
Right.
And that might not be you, but look towards someone that seems like they have their shit together and they can do that. Because that's just going to motivate you to want to be more like them. And maybe even that step to want to be more like somebody else that you work with will build your self-worth and allow you to see more about what you're capable of, and you might just turn yourself into that person that is who everybody else is using as their example.
Right.
So absolutely, I mean, everything that you touched on, just show people that you care and be there for them, but set the example in every way that you manage, in how you communicate with people, in how you do your job, how you're willing to get down and do the work, and just be there and set that example. That's why it's important to inspire others, or why it's important to be inspired, because that allows you to have a reason to keep going.
Yep, exactly.
If there's no inspiration, there's no reason to keep going.
Yep, exactly.
So everybody's just kind of dead in the water, giving up. Everything's going to die and drown. So without inspiration, there's nothing.
Yeah. I agree. So that brings us to the last question. We've already briefly brought it up. Why do great leaders inspire rather than motivate? I'll start it with, I looked up the definitions because I personally feel like there's a difference between the two, but I wanted to know verbatim what it was. So inspiration, the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. Motivation, the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. The general desire or willingness of someone to do something. I personally feel like motivation kind of has a negative context hanging around it. You have to find motivation to get something done. Where inspiration, it just feels better. It feels positive. It's a happy feeling, and it makes you want to do things. So inspiration gives you the motivation to get things done.
You know what's funny?
What's that?
I wrote these questions down in front of you, filled them out on my side of the laptop. We tried to record this. We didn't record it at your house because of audio. So now we're separate again. I have, why do great leaders inspire instead of motivate? To me, motivation is the push to do something. Motivation is temporary, and it can be both negative or positive. Whereas inspiration is coming from a constant place of positivity. Inspiration is the validation or belief that what you are working towards is possible, the constant driving force to keep going.
Yeah. And even Alier mentioned it. He mentioned that there's a difference.
Motivation is what starts you. That's that push. And it could be, I do not want to be in that place that I am right now. Now I need to do something. That's that push. Or I want to go do that. That's that push. But the constant, once you're started, once that motivation's worn off, it's what you're inspired by that's going to keep you going long term. If you lose inspiration, you lose the sight long term. What are you building long term, and do you really believe in it?
Yeah.
And if you do, you will never lose inspiration. Sometimes you just need a kick in the ass, and that's your motivation.
Yep.
So great leaders inspire because it's long term. Motivation short term, and it can be a kick in the ass that is enough to motivate somebody. But it doesn't have to be a good thing. Whereas inspiration is always a positive thing.
Yeah, the last motivating almost has the negative context. You have to be motivated to do things you don't want to. When you are inspired, you do things because you want to.
Or you continue doing it once it's already started.
Right. Yeah. Because you want to, though. It's not a forced thing like motivation is.
Think about it like driving a car. Motivation is the starter engaging the flywheel and turning the engine to get it going. Your inspiration is the fuel that you have in the tank.
Yeah. I like that.
Your inspiration's what's going to keep you going for the extent of everything. Once you stop, you still have your inspiration, but you need a little bit of motivation to get it started again. So a little bit of motivation to get it started once you leave wherever you were just at and keep going. But once your inspiration runs out, if you don't stop and refill it once in a while, you're going to be dead on the side of the road.
So why do great leaders inspire rather than motivate?
Because if you continue to keep that, motivation is what starts people going, but if you continue the inspiration once people already know what the goal or what has started that, they will never run out of a reason to keep working. Because you're constantly fueling someone's tank. You're constantly giving them inspiration to keep going. This is what we're working towards. What?
If you have to motivate your team, that means they don't want to do whatever. They don't believe in you. If you're inspiring
that means you're coming to a complete stop.
Yeah, if you're inspiring your team, they're following behind you, doing whatever you tell them because they want to do what you tell them to. So great leaders inspire rather than motivate because they don't, it's like we've said, it's effortless. You don't have to motivate your team if you're an inspirational great leader. You just
once in a while you do. Once in a while you got to motivate, and that's okay. But it's just that's why the car analogy is so perfect.
Yeah.
Because once you stop, you still need to start it up again. So you get a little bit of motivation to keep going. Your starter goes out, you lose all motivation. You could have a full tank of gas, but your car's never going to go anywhere.
Right.
Because you don't have the motivation to get that momentum going again. So if you lose momentum in the process, which is stopping, that's where you have to hit the starter again. You have to find motivation again. If you lose momentum, you need motivation. But inspiration is the driving force that keeps you going as long as you don't lose that momentum.
Yeah.
But as long as you still have inspiration, you just need a spark of motivation once again, just to get things going again. Motivation is temporary, inspiration is long-term.
Yep. Yeah, that analogy works well.
Because you're going to have to motivate your team once in a while. There's going to be times where it's like, this sucks. Yep, it sucks. We're all in a shit spot right now, but hey, it's going to get better. We're going to get through it. Hey, let's get this done. And just a little bit of motivation is going to get everybody going back, running on all cylinders again. Everybody's going to be back to where they're at. You just need a little bit of motivation once in a while. But that inspiration is the long term.
And I wouldn't even say they need...
the tank.
If you've got a great leader, I would almost challenge that to say it's not really motivating. It's just hey, remember, this is our North Star. It's a reminder of where you're headed. Because if you've been inspiring, they know what needs to be done. And they're willing to do what needs to be done. It's just, hey, don't forget, this is our goal.
Occasional topping off of the tank. Reminder of the inspiration.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now you can keep going. Now you keep going for a week, a month, however long, till you need a little top off. Like, oh yeah, that's what we're working towards.
Exactly.
And then you're good. You don't ever run. You're never going to run out of it.
So yeah, it's they still aren't even motivating. It's just, guys, remember, this is our ultimate goal. All this shit don't matter. It's just a fucking obstacle. This is just some bullshit in our way, stopping us of getting what's truly our goal.
It's just another day. It's a rough day, but we've had them before. We're gonna get through this. Tomorrow's a new day. Let's keep going. Look at the big picture. What are we working towards?
So yeah, I would challenge your motivation remarks and just say it's more of a reminder of what you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take much. If you've had a leader that inspires you, it doesn't take much.
No.
to get you
Nope.
through those bad times. Just
And
a
you shouldn't.
quick pat on the back. Hey, great job. We got more to do.
Yep.
Yep,
We're
it
heading
was
in the right
shit.
direction.
Great job. Let's go. All right. Yep, we got this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times, if you've got a great leader that's been inspiring, the team takes care of itself. The leader doesn't even have to motivate anymore
No,
because the
because they'll
team does
explain
it
it
for
all.
them. Exactly. The
Yep.
team's doing it all.
Because they've taken what you've taught them and they're passing that on.
So that's why I think great leaders inspire rather than motivate, because it's effortless. It takes care of itself.
Yeah,
The team,
that's
all
fair.
of it.
I like it.
We got a
Both
quick,
pretty much on the same page with that, though, I'd say.
yeah, all of it. I think that's going to wrap up our little inspiration one. We got another episode, inspiration and at home. That one was a fun one to record as well. So
That'd be a good one. That's coming out next week.
yes, and then got one more on inspiration coming after that. It'll be a little bit different format, but something new I want to try, and we're going to see how it works. So keep an eye out for that one in a few weeks yet. Other than that, like we said at the beginning, we've got the Polar Plunge coming up this week. If you live in the area, got some extra time on Saturday, we'd love to have you join the team. Links are on Facebook and Instagram. They're posted right to the our profile page. There's links right there for you. So click on that. If you're not able to go with us, would still like to donate, we've set a team goal of $500 for Special Olympics. So head on over to that link. Donate as much as you can. Anything helps.
It's all to a good cause.
What else you got, Joe? Anything?
That's it. I think we're all good.
All right. Well, you be safe this week. We'll see you Saturday. See the rest of you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks for listening.
See ya.